Cool. Alrighty. So thanks everyone. And Corlia and Beck, I'm going to throw to you now so you can do your official intros as well, because Beck and Corlia are our two fantastic educated champions who are joining us today and going to share a little bit about how they've run $20 Boss at their respective schools. So I might do you want to go first, Corlia?
Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Corlia. I'm from the Lakes College, also just north of Brisbane. This is my 10th year of being involved in the $20 Boss in some form. We started off running it with a very small group up in far north Queensland, and then I moved down Brisbane way, and I've been involved with the school here for the last 4 years. We mainly run the program for year 8s and 9s, and we've decided that there's value in having the students do it for a period of time. So we generally look at 4 weeks of trading. The idea is that students don't just have one trade day that they prepare for. They actually have to manage their stock for an extended period of time and keep track of their finances. And we find there's some valuable skills in that for them. However, saying that, this year we are going to do 2 weeks of trading, and then we're going to culminate that in a Christmas market. This school is quite keen for us to do a community outreach, and we want to raise some money for the Red Box appeal, which the school usually gets involved in, but we've decided that this would be a good idea for all our students to also start to contribute towards some sort of charity. We use the opportunity with our students to get them to be creative, to think outside of the box, to become socially aware of their footprint using recyclable materials. And in the past, we've had considerable success with that. The photographs you can see up on screen, we've got students who ran hampers that was all recyclable or reusable. And some of our students also took some of their products to our local markets. So it's been incredibly successful for us. Our business department has just boomed. Students love being involved in it. And the resources that we get from the Young Change agents just makes our life so much easier. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to talking to some of you a bit more later on.
Thanks, Corlia. And I think, it's so great to see those photos and all of your stories of the many years that you've been running $20 Boss. I know at different schools as well. And I think you've been such a champion in advocating for your students as well, and giving them those opportunities to go to the market days and see what's possible and continue to sell their ideas in different places as well. I think that's so awesome to see. So kudos to you. It's great to have educators like you running the program. If anyone has any questions, we might have a chance to open up the floor to both Corlia and Beck in a moment. So feel free to write them down or pop them into the chat and we can come back to them in a second. But we'll throw it over to you now, Beck.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Beck Roby. I'm a grade 5-6 teacher, as well as a mental health and wellbeing leader at Rosedale Primary School. We're a small rural school located in Gippsland, Victoria. You might have seen our area in the news with the floods and the fires. It's all been happening here. Our school is really small, consists of 95 students, and we've got 25 students in the grade 5-6 cohort. So I thankfully stumbled upon the $20 Boss program when I was looking for an incursion. And I'm so thankful that they couldn't come to our school and they recommended your program, because it's just been the best thing for our school. We found signing up to the program was really easy. We used the resources that were provided in the $20 Boss full toolkit, and we used that to support the learning and developing of the business, but we did modify it. So we had to modify the resources to suit the amount of time we had to deliver the program. And also some of the language that was used was probably a little bit too high level for the grade 5-6 cohort that we're teaching. So the parts of the toolkit we found that were most valuable was the ideating process and developing the prototypes. We continue to use that language in our inquiry-based units. For science-based unit, we've used those processes, and also now in our geography, we're looking at using that same learning processes. We found the main challenge that we had for the students was to encourage them to think broadly about our school community in order to develop their businesses that could succeed. And that's where the ideate process was really valuable. So we had to encourage our students to throw away their first ideas and to really brainstorm what the school community could benefit from. So the outcome of our $20 Boss program was the Rosedale Primary School Market Day. The students prepared the event and all the advertising, and they used Canva to make their advertising look really professional, give that professional edge to their business. And the businesses that they came up with, everything was all done by themselves with very little input from us. They came up with making bracelets and necklaces. We had a plant store. We had plants donated to school from a friend. We had people selling cookies, muffins, chicken wraps, lemonade, lemon butter, fruit smoothies, and we had the operation of a car wash as well. So the students created slogans and names for the businesses. You can see the RNS Loonbands business, but there was also my favourite, which was the MKJ Muffins, and their slogan was "Muffalicious in your mouth," which I just thought was great. So the market day was a moment in my teaching, though, where I had a slight panic. I was thinking to myself, have I actually set up my students to fail in some learning that they're really invested in? What if nobody turns up to the market day? What if it rains and the car wash business doesn't succeed? What if some businesses succeed in making a profit and others don't? So I was actually really nervous, and I had many sleepless nights before our market day, thinking about what situation I'd place the students in. Of course, I didn't have to worry about that. It was just an absolute smashing day. We made $1,300 sales in our products and services, and of that was a $700 profit. That's taking away the $20 Boss loan and the $1 interest. We called that our interest payment, and some other costs that I had to put in to enable the products to work up front. But what's been really exciting for us is that we've continued to use the program learning to have other businesses. So we had designed a school beanie, and we've sold that throughout the school. So we've sold 50 beanies so far. We've created the Country Kids business. You can see a photo there of our kids with the garden, and we sell the produce from the vegetable garden to families. So these businesses require the same skills that we used for the $20 Boss program. It relies on continual advertising, promotion, continual review, checking how we're going with our profit and loss. And we're now looking at having other businesses to raise money for community groups. And one of the ones our students were looking at was a disco. Unfortunately, our stadium got flooded in the recent rain event, so we had to modify that a little bit. So, but they're still looking at a fundraising opportunity. The money we've raised from our businesses will be used in two ways. The sales from the Country Gardens kids goes back into our garden, into growing more plants. And the sales from the beanies and the market day we've actually collated, and we're going to be purchasing a 3D printer for the school to help with our technology learning. With that, the students have also discussed the option of making products with a 3D printer that they could sell to help with the running costs of the 3D printer. So our students have just been so excited by this program. They said it's the best learning they've done. They didn't want to stop learning. They wanted to keep running their businesses, and they're looking for ways to have more food days and sell their products during the term. The level of excitement in the cohort of students in all of them has just been just really overwhelming, and just the maturity and success in learning demonstrated by the students was awesome. They also developed lots of skills, which has helped for our other learning in teamwork and identifying the importance of roles to have in teams too. So their learning is just ongoing from this program. So I guess from us, I really encourage everyone who's thinking about the $20 Boss program, take advantage of the opportunity of some really rich, engaging learning that connects students to community. And that's the important aspect of this project, is that connection. I found it easy, adaptable, and highly motivating. And this is a primary level, so it can really be adaptable to any level, I believe. And we're going to run the program again in 2025. So our business program runs every 2 years. So this is our first year, the $20 Boss, and I'm looking forward to 2025, kickstarting it off again. So that's us from us here at Rosedale.
Wow, thank you so much, Beck. I'm blown away by having you only done it for the first time, but seeing that success and then being able to apply those same skills to other business avenues as well. I think that's so great to see, the success of the program. And this is only year one, so I can't even imagine what's going to be happening in 2025. Can't wait to see what's next and see how we can support you on that journey as well. If there's any other support you need or things like that as well, happy to chat further. But thank you. I might stop sharing and we'll hand over for some questions to our educator champions. If the group has any for you all, we'll have a chance for that now. So let me just remove your spotlight. Yeah, so we'll open it up to the floor if there's any questions. We will have some networking time where you'll get to have Corlia or Beck in your rooms as well, and you can all kind of get to know each other and talk a bit more about how you'll be actually delivering the program or your questions for delivering if you're new. So yeah, does anyone have any burning questions they'd like to ask? Feel free to either come off mute or there might be one in the chat. No, not yet. Yes, got one from you, Adrienne.
I'm curious if anybody has extended the timeline through to make it a semester course and how that worked.
We haven't, we did the program in one term because the way the curriculum is set up for primary is quite intense and we've got to cover a lot. But certainly behind the scenes, it's extended. So we've extended the learning continuously using the same language, the same skills through developing other businesses that we're running sort of code along the sides of what we're doing. But importantly, that terminology and learning processes from what the $20 Boss taught in other areas. So just thinking about how you can apply that learning to keep it at the forefront of the student's mind so that when they're looking at businesses and developing businesses, because we still talk about that, for their own personal lives as well. So they've still got those skills and they can be reminded of that, just that repetition. But we're limited to only really a term because of the primary curriculum.
Thanks, Beck. Kim, is that a hand up?
Yeah, of my sevens, I just ran across 2 terms just recently, mainly because of the limited time that I see the students. So I only see the students 50 minutes once a week, and with all the other interruptions, I think the whole program ran basically across 12 50-minute sessions was the contact time that I had with the kids. But that extended time also gave kids more opportunity to engage with the resources and the materials in the online spaces as well that you offer. So I have tried to do it with the 1-term process, but in my context, that's just too tight. So stretching it out over the semester has actually been much better for us.
Sorry, can I just add on further to Kim's point? That's a really good point. So it depends on the frequency you're providing the learning opportunity as well. So we had 3 sessions a week, so it enabled us to cover a lot and a lot of the planning and preparation. So if it was once a week, we probably wouldn't have been able to succeed anywhere near to the level that we have. So yeah, it's just that time allocation is really important.
Yeah, I'd like to just say, I think if you are working with students who are ESL, you might need a little bit more time. And there's no reason why businesses can't run for more than that one trade or 2 or 3 weeks, even with longer breaks in between. It's pretty good learning that's involved in that in-between time as well, when students reflect on what's successful, what worked, what didn't work, and how they can adapt and change what they currently have.
All right, do we have any other questions? We will jump into a bit of an overview of $20 Boss as well for those of you that are new, so you can just learn a bit more about how it's all structured and the different toolkits and things like this. But we might just have 1 or 2 more questions before we do that, if we've got any. I know, Tracy, you've got one. So this program is actually a free to access program for educators within the schooling system in Australia. And we have a small fund as well. So for students to actually get the $20 to invest in their business that they create, schools with an ICSEA score under 1,100 can apply to access that for their students. If your school's over that amount, you can self-fundraise and then access the resources to deliver the program. However, if you're under that low ICSEA score of 1,100, we're able to provide a loan to you and your students to deliver the program. And the goal is that they, they pay that money. They pay that money back with a $1 legacy fee that we have as well. So this is a visual version of kind of what I was just sharing there. But so how does the $20 program work? So as I was saying, you can sign up with Young Changers to deliver the program at your school, and we provide all of the resources. There's 3 different toolkits that you can access, so everything's there ready for you to deliver with your students. Depending on how long you have, there's a range of different toolkits available, which I'll talk about in a second. But essentially this is how the program works. So a student's given $20, they use that money to form a team and then invest in creating their first business. The goal is that they can go out and purchase the supplies that they need to deliver their product or service. We can have services with $20 Boss as well, and maybe some on the call can share what their schools have done there if you have any examples, or I've got some examples as well of schools that have had services as well. And they sell them at the market day They then return that $20 with the $1 legacy fee, and we have had about a 90% return rate. So one of the questions we always get asked is, oh, but what happens if we don't make the money back? We're happy to work with you to see what's possible there, and we're always happy to work with you. You know, if there's one student that or group that really wasn't able to pay it back, there's always you know, some other groups that may have made more profit than others as well. So it usually works out. So that's kind of how, the program is structured in terms of the funding and how that side of it works. And then it's using the design thinking process. So some of you may have seen this on the website. This is kind of the steps that the program follows. And depending on which toolkit you use, there might be a more extended version of these steps or a condensed version of the steps. But it's looking at starting out with the immersion, going into the problem space and looking at the problems that they're going to focus on, then developing their team skills, and then coming up with the solutions that they're going to create, and then preparing for the market day and business trading. And then at the end, a final evaluation and celebration. So we'll talk a bit more about this as we get into the breakout rooms and maybe some examples of those different stages as well. But that's kind of how it's structured. The toolkits that are available are these 3 ones here. So if you want to have the full comprehensive toolkit, there's 25 lessons in there. So if you do have more time with your students, we find that that's usually a good way to get started, because there is so much there that's available for you. It's just ready to go. So you get the toolkit, and we also have slides that you can use in the classroom as well, and a range of accompanying worksheets that come with that toolkit. If you have less time, the light toolkit is sort of probably the next best option for you. So it's got 13 lessons, and it still follows all the different phases to get you to business trading and the evaluation and celebration at the end. And then one of our newest toolkits is the 5-step toolkit. So this one's actually been designed to support a shorter time frame. If you're running $20 Boss and you don't have as long, it's a shorter version of the program, and it's also been designed to be a bit more interactive. There's more videos in this program, and so it's been designed to suit students that might have different kinds of learning abilities or might need a more simplified version of the program. So that one has 5 stages compared to the 6 of the full and the light toolkit. But it's still essentially going through the same kind of steps, just in a condensed way. So if you want to have a look at any of those toolkits, if you've already signed up to run the program, they're obviously in your Entrepreneurial Learning Hub access, or if you haven't, I'll just pop the link into the chat now as well, so you can see a bit more of a breakdown as well and what's in the different phases. And once you have access to the resources, so this is where all of the resources are shared, are here in our Entrepreneurial Learning Hub. So there's some screenshots on the right of what it looks like. And this is our technology at Young Change Agents, which allows you to access all of the resources that you might need, and any new resources that we create when we do reviews of the program, or when we have feedback from educators like yourselves on what else would help you to deliver this program, they'll get added directly into the Entrepreneurial Learning Hub. So it's really your best place to go for the most up-to-date resources on $20 Boss. And if you've signed up with your school, then you'll be able to get access to them. So you can have a look here. We've also now got digital presentations in Canva and some of the worksheets and templates in Canva as well that you can use to share with your students. You can watch some of these past kickoff calls on YouTube as well. And we have an opportunity for you to get matched with the buddy, if you like, throughout the program. So you'll get some information from Bella after today about that. And there is also opportunities to get involved in utilising some of our technology that we have in addition to the Entrepreneurial Learning Hub. We also have a budgeting tool for $20 Boss as well, and our Buddy app. So I might even throw to Kim later on, because I know you've been using it as far as I understand. So you might be able to share a bit about how that's been going for you. And actually, this is interesting to have Rob on the call, because Rob and I were initially chatting about this budgeting tool a few years ago, and he was helping validate the idea for us. So at Young Change Agents, we actually use a lot of the design thinking principles ourselves and go out there and need to validate ideas and get feedback and tests. And so Rob, I'm sure you're beginning to see what it's like now as well. And there's also some other new updates around the market day packs with some ideas around how you can deliver your market days. And there's a certificate of achievement that you can share with students at the end as well. So lots of great resources. I know there might be a lot to take in one go, but take your time, you know, going through them. You can also search the platform for what you need as well. So hopefully it's quite intuitive, but if you ever need a hand, or if you think there should be something in there that's not, please reach out and let us know, because we'd love to have your feedback and know how things are going. All of the curriculum links are available as well, so you can have a look at those on the Entrepreneurial Learning Hub and find what you might need depending on what grade you're delivering the program to. And I might just have a show of hand or pop in the chat if anyone hasn't explored the Entrepreneurial Learning Hub. Maybe if you're new, you can let me know in the chat, because this could also be an opportunity for you to have a look in. And if you have any issues logging in or anything like that, you can let us know. Alrighty, so most of you, maybe if you're here, you probably have an idea around the why these kind of skills are important. So I might just skip through some of these slides. But as you probably, you know, noticed in the changes that we've had in the world in recent years, we really want to prepare young people to be able to adapt to those challenges and look at ways that they can look at problems and create opportunities for change. And especially at Young Changes, we're about empowering young people to think about the social change they can make and using the tools of social enterprise to make a difference in their community. So that's really one thing that, you know, we want to talk about here in this session a bit later on when we get into some breakout rooms and see how can we encourage students to think about the social impact and the community impact that they have with their ideas. The other thing is that these enterprise skills, there's been a lot of research now, but there's some research that came out from the Foundation of Young Australians that said that young people that have these skills will actually be 17 months ahead of their peers in gaining full-time work. So we really want to prepare young people for that future and give them the best shot. Alrighty, so we'll skip through some of these, and I might share this at the end because some are saying they've got to leave in 10 minutes. So we'll keep going. I might give you an opportunity to jump into some breakout rooms, Kim, while you're here as well. And Tracy, if you've got to go, that's all good. Thank you for joining, and happy to chat afterwards if you've got any questions, Tracy, as well, about the next steps if you're looking into delivering the program this term or next year. So we might jump into some networking and breakout rooms in a moment. I'll just see, Kim, if you want to share a little bit about the budgeting tool before we do that. Or if I put you on the spot, you can also say no. But yeah, do you want to maybe share, and I'll stop sharing my screen and bring you up?
Yeah, sure, that's fine. Yeah, I did. We sort of were involved with the pilot last year, the end of last year, and then students had a go at using it this year. I haven't insisted that they do every single little bit of the process, and I've adapted nearly all the processes just to suit the context that we're in. The tool itself, it gives students a fairly straightforward process. It keeps all the numbers in one place, and it gets them thinking about the startup costs in terms of what they need to actually establish capital, equipment, assets, and all that sort of stuff, and then what they need as operational costs to be able to keep their business going. Just in the context that we were working in terms of keeping things like a ledger and that sort of stuff for transactions was something that I introduced as a separate thing. They had to create their own ledger and keep track of every sale and every expenditure. Some of them used the online tool, and others just used Excel spreadsheets and things like that, which tied it into the work that they're doing in Digitech as well. So it's there, it's available. Some students use it, some students don't, but it's a good tool regardless, and it allows you to accommodate whether or not you're doing the $1 legacy fee or whether you're just doing an internal loan system as we did. So it was really nice that they were able to adapt that to suit our needs.
Awesome. Thanks, Kim. So for those of you, you might know some other organisations in Australia that are social enterprises. One of them that was quite popular during the pandemic is a company called Who Gives a Crap. So they sell toilet paper, paper towels, and other paper-based products, and they actually have 50% of their profits that go to supporting projects in developing countries to help with sanitation and water-based projects as well. So it's a really fantastic business that is using a product and taking some of the profits to create good in the world. And that's essentially how a social enterprise works. So the official definition is that 50% of the profits need to go back into the impact of the organisation. And so that can be any kind of product or service that they sell, as long as they have that impact-based part of the organization as well. So there may be some other social enterprises that you'll get to know as you come into the breakout rooms. I'll leave you to think about that and maybe have something to share. And if you're not sure as well, it might be a chance to have a Google and see what you can find. And then we'll jump into the other questions, which are how you might be able to encourage different $20 Boss ideas that are a little bit different. So sometimes we see with the $20 Boss program, you know, and sometimes there may be lots of different ideas that people create. So some of those might be food-based ideas, some of them might not be food-based ideas, and there might be something different. So as I said, we have had some schools that have created services through the program as well. So because it's a market day and you're running an event, some of them have actually been an event consultancy to the school, and they've helped with the event planning and they've charged out their services. So a bit of a different concept that might not always be top of mind for students, but it's thinking about how else can we encourage them to think differently. And I guess some students may, you know, just think, oh, I can just buy a can of Coke and sell it for $2. Like, obviously that it still makes a profit, but is that the most, you know, social impact based idea? You know, maybe not. So it's good to just have a discussion and think about, you know, how can we be purposeful in encouraging students to think about that community purpose or that social impact as well. And then you can talk about some of your goals for $20 Boss this term. So I know that's probably a lot. See how you go. Even if you just get through 1 or 2 discussions, that'd be good. We'll give you about 10 minutes in the breakout rooms, and I'll open those up now so you can join. Alrighty, welcome back everyone. I might actually. Alrighty, so this is just a little bit more about our Entrepreneurial Learning Hub and some screenshots of the resources that are in there as well. So you can see here on the left some of the posters and the passport for enterprise skills as well, and how to log in. This is what will come up when you first log into the platform. And you can come in here, go to the resources, and this is where you'll find everything that you need. So we are usually updating this at least once a year with new resources, or sometimes sooner, depending on the feedback we get from educators like yourselves. So feel free to have a look in there. There are now program slides as well that you can use. So we've got them for all of the different toolkits. And this is also the Buddy app version of the platform as well. So this is where you can have students have a record for the activities they're completing as part of $20 Boss. This just needs to be turned on for your school if you'd like to access it. So if you would like to do that, you can get in touch with Shalene from our team, and we'll share her email in the wrap-up email as well. But this is a really fantastic part of our technology that allows students to capture what they're learning, have an e-portfolio that they can share with potential employers, maybe not quite yet in the primary level, but once they get to the high school level, it'd be great for them to showcase what they've been able to achieve and the different skills that they've gained throughout the program as well. So they can complete that whilst they're going through the program at your school. So this is just a bit of a screenshot as to what it kind of looks like. Some of the badges they can get, and if they've done any of our other programs at Young Change Agents, they'll all be part of the e-portfolio there as well. And this is a bit more about how the individual reflections and the different modules work. Oh, we might just share this afterwards, but this is a bit about the budgeting tool as well, if you want to learn more about that. I don't know, Chris, if you want to share a little bit about the budgeting tool at all?
I mean, yeah, it's I think it's such a good simplified tool, like, you know, just helps people to really break down that you know, expenses and revenue, and then give them this really simple view of that, so they can sort of see it as it would be in a real business, without getting overwhelmed. And then I think, as Kim mentioned earlier, if you use the tool, it's also a good way of sort of having an approval process, so you can the students can submit their budgets, they get approved by the teacher, and then you can kind of keep track as to who's got what, and they can track their expenses as they go, depending on the year level, of course. But yeah, really nice little tool.
Thanks, Chris. So if you do want to access the budgeting tool, you just need to complete the EOI form, which we'll send as well, because we do have some funded spots to access the tool still available. So yeah, if you're interested, please let us know, because we'd love to have you using it. And this is a bit of a little demo. You can see how it works. So you put in all your different products and the costs, and then it will automatically calculate things for you. All right. Cool. Okay, so that's bringing us towards the end of this session. There's a few, I guess, steps from here to stay connected and be part of the $20 Boss community that we'd love to share with you. So as I mentioned before, we've got the $20 Boss Facebook group, which you can join. There's also an opportunity to get matched with another educator running $20 Boss this term or next term, depending on when you're delivering it as well. And you can reach out to our team at Young Change Agents for any support anytime as well. So if you do have any questions, or if you're not sure about how to implement something, we can set you up with a call with our educator residents or someone else within our team who can help support you with any of your questions. And then we are hosting the next $20 Boss Awards in April is when submissions will close. So there'll be some more information on that later this month or early next month, so that you can find out a bit more about the awards. But you can also have a look on our $20 Boss website as well, because we've got some of the information on there already, but we'll be sharing more and more as we get closer to the end of the year. And the other opportunity is we have our Teens in Business Awards coming up in November as well. And this is a national awards that we run to recognise and celebrate entrepreneurs under 18 across Australia, so from the ages of 10 to 18 across Australia. And one of our winners from last year, as I mentioned before, was on Shark Tank. So I think it's such a great opportunity for us to support young entrepreneurs all across Australia and help them in their journeys. There's a lot of different prizes on offer, from mentorship to some seed funding for their businesses. So if you know of any young entrepreneurs out there who should take part, please send them the Teens in Business link before the entries close, because we would love to have them take part and enter. And there's a range of different categories as well that you can have a look at. We also have professional development for $20 Boss. If you're interested, feel free to chat to us as well. And all of this will get sent to you by Bella tomorrow as well. So if you missed anything, or if you can't remember where the link is, don't worry. You'll get a follow-up email from Bella with everything that you need. But yeah, that kind of brings us to the end of the session. I'll stop sharing my screen and the recording, and we can have any final questions or comments. And just want to say, I guess, thank you to you all for joining us. And it's been really great to have some new faces and some veteran faces here this evening. And yeah, hope you all enjoyed it.